Hi gang, today we're using the distributive property to solve equations. So if you're not familiar with the distributive property, I'm going to make sure you got it down today. I promise by the end of the lesson you will be mastering equations with parentheses using the distributive property. All right, our steps to do this. First, distribute the number outside of the parentheses to each number inside the parentheses by multiplying. Second, use inverse or opposite operations to combine the constant and the answer. Third, use inverse or opposite operations to combine the coefficient and answer. And lastly, check your work if time allows. So first problem, very simple. We have 2 times x minus 1 equals 12. So again, we start by getting rid of the parentheses by multiplying. So we're going to distribute the 2. We have to multiply 2 times x and 2 times negative 1. So we get 2x minus 2 times 1 is 2 equals 12. Now we have an equation very similar to the ones we've seen the past couple days, very easy to solve. We start by getting rid of the constant. The constant is the minus 2. Opposite of minus 2 is plus 2, leaving us with 2x equals 14. Then we get rid of the coefficient. Coefficient is the number being multiplied by x, which is 2. Since it's multiplied, we're going to divide. So we divide by 2, and we get x equals 7. And then we can quickly check our work. If we have 2 times 7 minus 1 equals 12, that's the same as 2 times 6, which we know is 12. So we did it correctly. All right, so very, very simple problem. Let's take a look at another one. All right, so I skipped number 2. You're going to do that one on your own. Let's look at number 3. Now we have 60 equals 4 times 2x plus 3. So it's twisted around a little bit. We still have the same concept. So we have to distribute the 4 by multiplying it by 2x and 3. So if I bring down 60, I get 60 equals 4 times 2x, which is 8x, and 4 times positive 3, which is positive 12. A regular two-step equation. Start by getting rid of the constant, which is plus 12, by subtracting 12 to both sides of the equal sign, resulting in, you can draw the line if you want. I just think it looks messy sometimes, but if it helps you, that's fine. We get 60 minus 12 is 48 equals 8x. Now we have to get rid of the coefficient. Coefficient, again, is the number next to the variable. So 8 is the coefficient. It's being multiplied. So the opposite would be to divide. Dividing 8 on both sides. And 48 divided by 8 is 6. And again, we could quickly check our work. If we do 60 equals 4 times 2 times 6, replacing the 6 with the x, plus 3. So 60 equals 4 times 12 plus 3. So 60 equals 4 times 15, which is correct. Okay, number 5. I'm skipping 4. You're going to go back to that one and try it on your own. For number 5, now we have a negative, which makes it a little bit more challenging. So if you're distributing a negative, you need to make sure you pay attention to the signs as you're doing that. So when you multiply negative 5 times 2x, we get negative 10x. And negative 5 times 1, no longer do we have plus a number, we have minus a number. So this negative reverses the sign, minus 5 equals negative 45. Again, now we want to look to get rid of the constant, and in this case, the constant is negative 5. The opposite of negative 5 is positive 5, so we add 5 to both sides, resulting in negative 10x equals some number. Now remember, we talked about this, and you should have learned it last year. When you have different signs, you find the difference. Keep the sign of the number with the largest absolute value. So the larger absolute value would be the 45, so you're going to keep the negative, and then just do 45 minus 5, which results in 40. Like if you're looking at a thermometer and you're all the way down at negative 45 and the temperature rises 5, now you're at negative 40, not negative 50, right? You're going up in temperature, not down, not getting colder, we're getting warmer. All right, so now we're going to divide by the coefficient. So we divide by negative 10. A negative divided by a negative is a positive, resulting in positive 4. And again, I could quickly check my work by replacing the x in the original equation by 4. So we have negative 5 times 2 times 4 plus 1 equals negative 45, which is negative 5 times 8 plus 1 equals negative 45, which is negative 5 times 9 equals negative 45, which is correct. All right, moving on. I skipped 6, you'll come back to that. Let's look at 7. So in number 7, we have a third. So now we have a fraction of 18x minus 45 equals negative 75. So we're going to multiply this fraction by both terms inside the parentheses. Now, when we're multiplying by a fraction, remember, it's like dividing by the denominator and multiplying by the numerator. Now, multiplying by 1 is not going to change the answer. So if you have 1/3, you really only have to divide by the denominator. If you have 1 in the numerator, you're really only dividing by the denominator because multiplying by 1 doesn't affect the answer. So 18x divided by 3 is 6x. And negative 45 divided by 3 is negative 15. I know that because 3 goes into 4 once with 1 left over, and 3 goes into 15 5 times. Again, 3 goes into 4 once with 1 left over, and 3 goes into 15 5 times. Then equals negative 75. Again, our next step is to get rid of the constant, and in this case, the constant is negative 15. So we're going to add 15 to both sides of the equal sign, resulting in 6x equals, again, we have some negative numbers we have to deal with. So we're all the way down at negative 75 degrees, and we want to come up 15. All right, so we're going to stay in the negatives. So I'm going to keep my negative. And then I could just do 75 minus 15, which results in 60. Divide by the coefficient of 6, results in x equals negative 10. Okay, so hopefully you're understanding where I'm doing, how I'm doing this, how I'm getting these numbers, because you're going to be trying some on your own. Again, make sure you're raising your hand for support if you need it, or talking to a partner. The goal is to make sure you're mastering these problems and can do them on your own when it comes time for an assessment. All right, let's see what we got next. You're doing 8 on your own. Now we've got some word problems. So remember we talked about the word of representing multiplication. So this says twice the sum of a number in 15 is equivalent to negative 24. Find the number. So whenever you see something of a sum or of a difference, that's going to imply that we need parentheses. Twice means we're multiplying an entire sum by 2. So now inside the parentheses, it's a sum of a number and 15. A number can just be n plus 15. And their whole product is negative 24. All right, so again, we have the distributive property that we can work with here by distributing the 2 and multiplying. So we get 2 times n is 2n, plus 2 times 15 is 30, equals negative 24. Opposite of positive 30, the constant is negative 30. Bring down the 2n equals. We have same sign, so we find the sum, keep the sign. Negative 24 and negative 30 is negative 54. Divide by 2, and n equals negative 27. I know that because 2 goes into 5 twice. That's 4, so there's 1 left over. And 2 goes into 14 7 times. Final answer. All right, so I'm going to do one last word problem with you, and then you can go back and complete the ones that we missed. Actually, no, I'm not doing the other word problem with you. You're on your own. So I did all the odds. You're going to do all the evens. Again, raise your hand, and we will be around to help you out. Make sure you're checking in before you do the exit ticket and start your homework.